Thanks, guys. I have had two first coming outs in my life. The first time was when I was 5. Kids would ask me to say something cool in Chinese or tell them what their Chinese name was, and I realized, holy shit, I'm Chinese. My parents never explained this to me, but the kids in my class did by pointing out that I was visibly and culturally very different from them. But I was still me, I just wasn't white. I've never found this a particularly interesting fact about myself, since there are 1.5 billion other Chinese people in the world. But I am constantly reminded how exotic I am. Usually, when a stranger decides to ask, "Oh, where are you from?" "Calgary." "But where were you born?" "Calgary." "Oh, but where were your parents born?" And it's not that I don't know what they're asking, I just want to make it equally uncomfortable to ask, because when I do come out as Chinese, I'm still told how I don't look Chinese. The second first time I came out was when I was 15. I first learned the word gay used when kids on the playground would insult each other, and someone decided to use the ultimate trump card of insults, which in the mid-90s was Gaylord. I had no idea what the word gay meant, let alone the word Gaylord. No one seems to, but apparently it's still an insult. I grew up without queer characters on TV. My school didn't have a GSA. People weren't posting out coming out videos on YouTube. My parents didn't have gay friends. We lived a very heteronormative life where boys in bands sang about girls next door, princesses waited for Prince Charming. Rainbows were just rainbows, band practice was gay, homework was gay, uncool things were gay. When I was 14, the girl I had a crush on, but didn't know I had a crush on, came out to me, which made me start questioning my own sexuality, usually in fleeting thoughts of, oh, maybe I have a crush on her, but we're probably just friends, and this is probably how all girls feel about other girls. Probably. One day, she asked if I was a heterosexual, and I immediately thought, holy shit, she can read my mind, and I might be gay. She was just curious about sexuality, had been asking everybody, but the question made me put 2 and 2 together, and 4 for me was gay. It wasn't a life-changing moment. I was still me. I just wasn't straight. About a week later, I was talking to a friend on MSN at 2 a.m. because this was the preferred time and form of communication for teenagers. And I typed out, "I think I have a crush on a girl," and held my breath for a moment, knowing that once I hit send, it would be out in the world forever. She responded almost immediately with, "Me too," which was exciting, and to be completely honest, a little bit of an anticlimactic response to this huge moment I had built up in my head. And I'm not complaining, because I've been extremely fortunate that the people in my life has understood that the me before and after coming out was the same. My ethnicity is loud and visible. I am outed as Asian everywhere I go, and I don't have control over the strangers who feel a need to ask me about it. But my sexuality is quiet, less visible. I don't really look gay, unless maybe I'm wearing plaid. I don't check off the stereotypes I'm supposed to. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm allergic to cats. I don't play slow pitch. I don't know where the Don't know where the U-Haul depot is. My invisibility can be frustrating when I want it to be obvious and more visible. And even though I'm riddled with anxiety every time I come out, at least I have complete control over who I choose to let in, which isn't a privilege that everyone is afforded. Early in my coming out, I went to a walk-in clinic, and the doctor asked if I was sexually active, so I said yes. He asked if I was on birth control. I said no, which led him to ask if I could maybe be pregnant. Instead of saying, no, I'm gay, I panicked and said, no, I'm 99% sure I'm not. In my defense, who's 100% sure about anything. But this led to an unnecessary back and forth about whether or not I wanted to take a pregnancy test. So needless to say, I learned very quickly that despite not always wanting to or being ready to, sometimes you need to come out. But not coming out doesn't mean that I'm hiding something or that I'm ashamed or uncomfortable with who I am. Maybe I'm just not ready to let you into this part of my life. Because there's a difference between being afraid and being private. My dad and I aren't very close. He's been working to be a regular part of my life lately, and I haven't come out to him. I don't really feel guilty about it because if I had a boyfriend, I probably still wouldn't be talking to him about it. I'm probably more afraid than I am private about coming out to him, but there's an expectation that I have to, and when I'm ready to, I will. But coming out is something that I choose to do. It's not something that I owe you. One of the most embarrassing but important moments in my life happened when I was 5 at a McDonald's play place. I saw a woman of color and asked my cousin, why was she black? My cousin responded very quickly that I wasn't supposed to ask that. So I paused and asked her again in Chinese. She very quickly replied, she just is, which was probably a much deeper answer to my very simple question than she expected. My ethnicity and sexuality are not particularly interesting facts about myself. They are words for attributes that I was born with, not ones that I chose. And as much as they are part of my identity, they don't define me. I was Chinese before the world pointed this out to me. My heart has always been better than my head at choosing who to love and how to love. I've had 2 first coming outs, and I'll probably have to keep coming out with subtle corrections from he's to she's, boyfriends to girlfriends, clarifying that when I say girlfriend, it's not girl space friend, but the girl who I like and have feelings that are more romantic than platonic then. Regardless of the situation, I'm always going to feel a little bit of fear and anxiety when I come out because understanding me shouldn't change me. I'm still just me.